We saw that with people like Martin Luther King Jr. during the struggle for independence. They were eloquent and articulate in saying that this is our mother continent. And to that extent, we draw our inspiration from there, so that at critical points in terms of historical reference, we are saying these are our people.
Yes.
So they can participate at the level of ideas.
Yes.
These ideas are the ideas that will give birth to practical activities. But beyond the ideas, there are areas which they can participate. The men and women that you are talking about are now to be found in the arts. They are to be found in sciences. And Africa is calling for these. If an environment were to be created for them,
Yes.
they would, in my view, participate. If you said, you come and participate in agriculture through investment, if the Unilever brothers are present, if Anglo Gold is present, if Rio Tinto is present, if China Wuyi is present, why can't Jamaican billionaires be investors with special terms in Ghana, in the Democratic Republic of Congo? These are very practical, not theoretical issues. For those who are recent immigrants or those who are here who are dual citizenship, the connection is still very real.
Exactly.
They, of course, primarily identify with their countries, which they should and must, but they can contribute in a very practical way. And I'm not talking about theory. In the recent past, the Ethiopians in the diaspora, after the 1984 fall of the Derg regime, they have been participating in the economy. And you will know, for example, that the building of one of the largest hydroelectric dams in Africa, the Grand Renaissance Dam, was through the contribution of the Ethiopians in the diaspora. You will be told that most of the economic activities in a country like Eritrea is through the participation of their diaspora in Sweden and other parts of Europe and the United States of America. In Ghana, the remissions, in my own country, Kenya, the remittance that is received from different Kenyans in the diaspora is monumental. In Tanzania. So in real terms, one is saying that what one needs is organization at home. And I said a little earlier that we are now beginning to see embassies, African countries, organizing themselves and saying, this is a desk for the diaspora. This is a department that deals with diaspora issues. And I am of the view that if this is organized in a proper manner, it will inform the terms of engagement going forward. But the last thing is that the diaspora must also make demands. I see no reason, for example, why the diaspora in its different permutations cannot in the early days get an observer status at the African Union, so that you are able to address every summit of the heads of states and government on clear issues. And it can be done, and the sooner it is under the aegis of Africa Agenda 2063, the safer we are. And you can see in other countries, if you look at India, she's always mindful of her population outside of India. If you look at the Japanese, if you look at all these countries, they are always conscious of what they are doing and what they can contribute. The Eastern Europeans, it is we of the African origin that must wake up to this reality and begin to do things back. Sometimes we analyze for too long, so we paralyze ourselves through analysis. My view is, let us move off the drawing board. Let us begin to make mistakes on the ground. And I think that is part of the message that some of us who are now crusading across the continent and across the world are saying, that perhaps our role is to annoy and irritate political power into action. And once they are annoyed and irritated, then they can begin to do the right thing so that we can move. And once again, I cannot reiterate this often enough. There are those who think that the dividends of this engagement will be realized in their lifetime. No. If it does in your lifetime, well and good. But I want to think of us as the generation that will plant the tree or plant the seed Another generation will water that tree. Another generation will prune it. Another generation will enjoy her shade. If you look at it transgenerationally that way, then you know that this is a relay race. You run your leg, run it so well. And history has this habit of recording every other event, however innocuous they may appear in the early days. Yes. And that is my message.
Some theories suggest Africa was the birthplace of all humankind. Whether true or not, throughout history, people from Africa have migrated to new areas, been transported without consent, and even currently have a lot of people relocating for new lives elsewhere around the world. There are now African communities located around the world. People who have been living in Africa for decades now are also in the diaspora and helping expand their cultural heritage in increasingly more areas. African diaspora consists of Africans located in other countries outside of Africa. For example,